I'm ready, Edo. Thank you very much. Okay, continuing with our question. It costs High Five 98 Rand per box, excluding VAT, which is value-added tax, to manufacture the gloves, regardless of the size of the gloves. Now, High Five first adds a profit of 25% on the price of each box, and then charges a further 20% for transport and administration costs. Now, you can see here we've been given a lot of information, and you may need to read that through more than once. And I suggest that you have a highlighter so that you can highlight all your important things. Okay, so the first question here says, Table 1 on Annexure A shows High Five's format for calculating the selling price of their gloves. Okay, so you need to go and have a look at Annexure A. And if you have a look here, you'll see here's our Annexure A, and it's got all the ways of basically how we're going to be doing it. Now, it says, use the spaces provided on Table 1 on Annexure A to determine the values of items A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Show all your working details in column 2 and enter the final amount in column 3. Okay, now just something while I think about it, please don't forget any annexures that you've had to answer out of your question paper. Please remember to detach them and to put them in your final script. You don't want to walk out of the exam paper and have this annexure with you. Okay, right, so and you can see it's a lot of marks. This question is out of 12 marks, so it is not straightforward. Okay, the cost of manufacturing the required number of boxes of gloves. So we need to go back and we need to go and have a look and see how many gloves do they require. And they told us that the clinic required 100 boxes of each of the following sizes. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different sizes. In other words, we are going to have 400. 4 sizes, 100 boxes of each is going to give us 400. And the cost of manufacturing one box is 98 Rand. So we're going to multiply that by 98 Rand. And if we do that, you're going to see, you're going to get, let me just clear this, 400 multiplied by 98 gives us 39,200. Okay, so 39,200. I'll write nice and big so you can see the answers. Now, the profit of 25% on the cost price. So 25%, we're going to go 25% multiplied by the 39,200. We've already got our answer on the calculator, so you're just going to go times 0.25. Remember, 25% is 0.25 as a decimal. And that gives us a total of 9,800 Rand. Now, in the next column, there's a subtotal, and they tell us here that we must find C by adding A and B. So these are the previous two. So we're going to go 39,200. We're going to add 9,800. And remember, if you make a mistake, please just keep going, don't stop, and make certain that all of these are completed. So that's going to be plus 39,200. And that gives us a total of 49,000 Rand for this one over here. Now, our next row is 20% for the transport and the administration costs. So we need to calculate 20% of that amount that we have just got, which is our 49,000. So we're going to go times 0.2, and that gives us 9,800. Okay, and just because those two answers there are the same, don't worry, it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It could quite easily happen. Okay, now subtotal E is the sum of C and D. These two over here. This is C and this one here is D. So we're going to say 49,000, and we are going to add 9,800. And remember, keep everything on your calculator as you're going along. It does save you some time. So it's going to be 9,800, and I've got to add 49,000 to that, and that gives me a total of 58,800. Okay, now in the next one, number F, we need to go and find the 14% VAT. So it's going to be 14% multiplied by the 58,800. So we're going to go times 0.14, and that gives 8,232. And then finally, the total selling price of the gloves is those two added. So it's 8,232 plus 58,800, and that gives us a total of 67,032. Okay, here I need to put in the 58,800 added to the 8,232. Okay, so there's 12 marks. You can see it was a lot of work, and that's why it is in fact 12 marks. Okay, let's have a look at our next question. It says it costs half 5. Oh, sorry, I need to go further. Okay, done that one. The Department of Health uses the following formula to make decisions about which company will be granted the tender. Okay, so here's our full formula that they have given us. Let's see what we're going to do with that. Now, they tell you, if they give you, this is using a formula, and the formula you can get given can be anything. You've never seen this one before. Remember, it can change from paper to paper. They tell you that P of S is the points scored for the tender. P of T is the value of the tender under consideration, and it's in rands. P of min is the lowest acceptable tender value in rand. And then the 2,5 that was added at the end of that formula is only added in the case of a 100% black-owned business. The lowest acceptable tender value, P minimum, for the rubber gloves is 56,000. There they've given us the one value that we have to use. Use the total selling price calculated in Table 1 to calculate P of S, the number of points scored by Half 5 Cooperative. Okay, so our formula is here again. So all we're going to do now is we're going to take our different values and we are going to substitute them in here. So it's going to be 80 multiplied by 1 minus our P of T is what we find in our table just now. So it's 67,032 less that minimum which they gave us of 56,000. We divide that by 56,000, and because it is a black-owned company, we're going to add the 2,5. Okay, so putting that into your calculator is going to give you a total of 66,74. Okay, let's look at the next question. Show with the aid of formula given in question 1.2 whether Half 5 or L&R Enterprises will be awarded the tender. Sorry, here we are. Okay, I missed this one. The total selling price tendered by another company, L&R, which is 100% white-owned, what does that mean? It means you can't add that 2.5, was 66,000. And the Department of Health announced that the tender scored the highest number of points will be awarded the contract. Show with the aid of formula in question 1.2 whether Half 5 or L&R Enterprises will be awarded the tender. Okay, so the only difference between the last question and this one is that we can't go and put in the 2.5, okay? So what is it going to have a look like? It's going to be 80 multiplied by 1 minus the 66,000 minus 56,000, and we're going to divide that by 56,000. Okay, and that gives you 65,71. Now, if you compare that to our last one, it was 66,74. So obviously, the company that we're going to be going for here is the first one. Okay, thank you. That's from me, and I hope that has really been useful, and good luck for Friday particularly, but all your exams.